Welcome to ATD and the D, the podcast driving modern talent development in the Motor City and beyond. I'm Sarah Meyer from Dark Mode Learning, and alongside me is Clifton Clark from the Detroit Learning Alliance. Every episode, we sit down with industry leaders to cut through the noise, challenge standard practice, and break down what actually works. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to ATD in the D. Today, we are bringing some serious energy and insight to the learning community. We're thrilled to introduce our friend that we got so acquainted with in LA at the conference, Kelvin Jenkins. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I'm glad we're friends. I love that.
Of course.
Thank you.
We are very friendly in Detroit.
We are.
True story. I had a great aunt and a great uncle that were living out in Detroit for about 40 years, doing social work and engineering. So, yes.
Amazing. Yeah. Love that.
It's a snapple fact I didn't share with you earlier, but I figured I'd hold it for today.
I love that.
That's awesome to know. Awesome to know. They certainly had a lot of work if those were the fields they were in.
Yeah. She had stories for sure. She was JFK, then she transitioned out to Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Clifton and I were talking about how much we love bumping into you all over the conference circuit. For us and our local chapter and the broader L&D community who might not have crossed paths with you yet, can you give us a quick snapshot who you are and how you found your way into the learning space?
Yeah, so I found my way into the learning space, and I love Spider-Man. I found my way into the learning space through my mom, actually. So it started off, I told you my great aunt was inside of social work. My grandmother was in HR. My mom ended up going down the learning and development pathway. She went back to school when I was about 5 or 6 and started dragging me along to her night classes with her. And so I've literally been inside of dev psych classes, organizational development classes all my life.
Cool.
And probably her first experiment. So I hope she got good grades testing out on me. I think I turned out halfway decent to this point. So that's how I got started initially. I was not going to go down this path at all. I was very anti. My mom did it. My grandma did it. Like, absolutely not. I was going to go firefighting, nursing, something to like burning buildings and not sit at a desk all day. And then I got some exposure to some courses, got some exposure to some organizations, and actually ended up falling in love with education and continuing education. Went down this long path with Kaiser for about 8.5, 9 years. Got my coaching credential as an ICF coaching coach. Let's see, got my ACC, got my PCC, opened my own company, went over to a company called Battle Robot Games. Went over to, where do we go from there? We went to doing some independent work for Harvard, independent work for Kaiser Permanente outside of them being my employer. And then went over to a company called Affirm. And now I've been navigating with a lot of cities and counties, Marin, Napa, CalSTRS, you name it. And I probably interacted somewhere in that and been able to go to ATD where I met you lovely folks. And
there's a reason we brought him here to you guys. There's a reason.
Here we are.
That is amazing. What an amazing story. I think you're probably one of the first people that we have had on that didn't bump into the training and development field. Like, you were groomed from a babe. You were groomed from a babe. This is awesome.
I honestly, when we were in LA, I was thinking that it was almost like a Hollywood like situation, right? Like you followed your mother's footsteps in these ways, and I thought it was really cool that like there was some legacy to that, and it kind of made me want to convince my kids to be in it.
It's a great field. It's a great field, we know, but you do have to have a special something to stay in this field and to excel in this field. We know that. So you're not just groomed, I'm sure. And we know that this is your jam. We've seen you do your thing. So
appreciate it.
As we're asking all of our guests on this season, we are creating a Spotify playlist. And so we want to inspire people going into the next year to use music to sort of psych themselves up. So we're asking you today to give us your theme song for what do you use to hype yourself up? Do you use any kind of music to keep yourself going? What is it?
Yeah, so I love music. I play the trumpet. Another Snapple fact I didn't share with you all before. I'm playing the trumpet since I was in 5th grade, I think. So
my undergrad is in music.
Really?
We
may have to have some additional conversations around this.
We
I'm dabbling in
will.
the keys lately, trying to like figure that out, which is it's a whole mind thing. And it's different.
Yeah.
I got into the trumpet, so nowadays what gets me kind of hype for things is anything with a good horn line. I always go back to Move On Up. The horn line, that introduction. I know Kanye sampled it, but the original, if you go back, it's fantastic.
Okay, so I wrote it down.
Let's share with everybody.
Move on up. Got it.
Move On Up. Curtis Mayfield, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know the song. I just need to listen to it again now.
And then they have like a jam session at the end of the song, which is also fantastic. So anything with a good horn line, anything that has a good trumpet, mute. I don't know if they're pronounced mute or mute, M-E-U-T-E. They also have some really cool instrumentals as well. All live music, all bands. Yeah.
This is going to be a great podcast at the end of the year. We just talked to someone yesterday who's going to have some show tunes on there. We got some 70s music going on there. This is going to be a really, really cool playlist for people to sort of get going. Especially as, you know, we're into business, we're into making things happen with people. And sometimes we really have to motivate ourselves to get going. So thank you for that addition. Let's dive into business a little bit more. Because you have a really fascinating dual structure. You launched a concept called Same Old New during the pandemic. Now, what was the catalyst for that? And how does that individual facing work differ from what you do over at the AP Business Collective with orgs like Napa and CalSTRS?
Yeah, so I was actually in Oakland during the pandemic. I was still working at Kaiser. I pulled up to this chicken shop. Don't judge me. Downtown Oakland was one of the few places that was still open during the pandemic. And I was kind of in this slump of, you know, I'm going to work, I'm doing the same old thing. I'm kind of like stuck in this, like, I'm doing the work, and the pandemic is crushing everyone's like morale. And there was this sneaker shop across the street, and it had like, think of something new today. And I had already been thinking of like same old. I'm tired of the same. I want something new. And so I was like, I want to do the same old thing that I'm doing as far as learning and development, as far as people development, but I want to do something new. I want to feel new about it. And I've taken that philosophy for even leadership. People think, I have to become some new thing, or I have to like, I have to get, no, it's the same old you, but now we're going to add in some new perspective. We're going to add in some new observations. We're going to add in some new things to it, but it's always going to be you. And so I've taken that. The first slogan was failing ain't failure. I was really feeling like I was failing at stuff at the time. And I wasn't, right? It just, the world was in a really sticky place.
Yeah.
I felt though, I was like, man, and it hit me. I was talking to a bunch of like college kids, and I was like, you know, failing isn't failure. Failure is the end of a thing. Fail fast is what we keep teaching people. So failing has to be part of the process. It's okay to do that. But once you quit, now it's failure. And so that was the emphasis and the genesis of Same Old New. And it has been kind of the mantra that's carried me through when I do coaching for clients and individuals moving forward.
I love that. I think so many people fear failure, and it's really like the initial step. Like at Dark Mode, I really lean into the failures, and I'm like, okay, let's determine, why did it fail? Let's look at the data. Let's learn something new. So I really, really, really love that.
I love that. And you're right, because we're taught all our lives, especially inside the education system, like when you raise your hand, you need to have the answer. And like, I don't know about your elementary school and middle school and high school experiences, but you ever been the person that got it wrong and you said it confident, people kind of like snicker, like,
They do. They do. It's
And
hard.
so we're taught like I can't fail in front of these people. So I got to get it right, or else I'm going to be quiet. Or you let the quiet, smart people do it, the smart kids or the nerd. Like,
yeah. And the interesting thing there is they become more confident because they are practicing the muscle. And so, like, yes, 100%. I love that.
You don't see the failing that they're doing behind. So the data, to your point,
Correct.
you never examine the data.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I love that you're focusing on helping people who feel stuck. It's really important. I also want to pull back the curtain for our listeners who might be dreaming of branching out on their own. Can you talk about the glamorous side of entrepreneurship and also the hurdles? Tell us, the reality of client acquisition, the less fun stuff, and invoicing operations, you name it.
And you all are not oblivious to this, right?
No.
So one thing I realized lately, I've had a lot of friends. So in 2021, I opened my company. So AP Business Collective went live in 2021. Didn't really do much with it until I got laid off from a company, and I was like, oh, I gotta make some money. Like I got a mortgage to pay. I'm trying to stay married. Like all these things, right?
Relatable.
And I was like, all right, let me go find somewhere to like get some information. The glorious part now is like, oh yeah, I did a thing for Harvard. I did a thing. So it's cool having like these big names, and people think like, oh, you must have made it. And it's like, yeah, that was a contract that only lasts for X, Y, and Z amount of time. And it only gives you a finite sum of money. Now you have to keep doing that, and you have to keep making money, and you have to keep building relations. Like that's the messy side. So sometimes I'll talk to like peers, and they'll be like, oh, your video was great. You're on. And I'm like, no, I am working in the background, trying to make sure. And then once I get a client, like I gotta make sure they pay me. And then I submit the invoice to get paid. So like there's a whole operation, and there's comfort in getting a W-2. There's nothing wrong with it. W-2s are nice. They're gonna pay you consistently and on time, because it's illegal to not. The flip side of that is, like when you go out on your own, the marketing, the advertising, the project management, the ID, so the instructional design, like any of that stuff, you either have to do it yourself or get people to help you do it, or find assist. But now it's reliant on you to think of like, okay, what does it take to run a business? And then you have to kind of change your mindset on, I'm not just going out and doing the thing that I was tight at. Like I'm excellent.
No, it's a very different skill. It's kind of that same pivot, like you were saying earlier, from performer to leader, a very, very similar avenue, right?
Yes.
Where you're like, I don't know, they just are a great leader. I didn't see the in-between. I didn't see how they became a great entrepreneur or leader or whatever. I just thought that they are, I think most of us aren't showing the tears of the business deals that don't work out,
And I've been pretty honest with even some people that ask me, like I'll do a post every now and then, and I'll talk about like, hey, y'all might have seen like this, but let me be real with you about what it really felt like. And it's not to discourage, it's not to like disparage, it's almost to validate. If you're thinking about doing this, failing ain't failure. It's okay that they ghosted you after they said they wanted the proposal. And
and showing the tears is not like a part of that too, right? Like we don't have to show the tears, but people look at us and think we're successful. Like I think there's something we said about like that moment of like, just because it's not seen doesn't mean it's not happening, doesn't mean it has to be shown either. Like it's just a journey. Leadership, entrepreneurship, whatever. Entrepreneurship, it's all the
same. I love what you're calling out, because there's a reality behind the gloss of even work, even performing, even doing the thing. It's like, all right, I am a leader, so I have it all figured out. Or I'm an entrepreneur, so I have it all figured out. And even in my coaching, sometimes I'd be like, who said so? Like, who said you had it figured out? What is happening?
The other thing is, the best leaders don't have it figured out. So why are we trying?
It's the ones, now let me know if you've experienced this. It's not always the case. I don't want to generalize, but I do percentages. Most of the people that I've run into who are like, oh yeah, I know, tend to be the folks that really don't know.
Definitely my experience.
Like, oh, I know it. I know I've been doing this for this long. I know. And they'll be like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even that people have confidence. I love confidence. Like, I think everyone should be confident in what they're doing. And we build you up. If you're not, we'll get you. Like, we should work towards that as a society.
Yeah.
There's the absolutism of I know, and because I said I know, do what I say and don't question what I'm doing. Most of the people that I run into that are of that cloth tend to have lots of blind spots.
Yeah.
And it makes it very difficult to work with them. Who wants to follow someone like that?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the underbelly of having to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there as far as entrepreneurship that you have for tips and tricks for us? What more is there?
Ooh, okay. Outside of, if I got two pieces of advice from a gentleman named Michael Parker. He runs these challenges for navigating, starting your own business and getting kind of together, called You Are a CEO. We can touch on that a whole nother time, but there are two things that he said, and they're kind of just sayings that have lived rent-free in my brain. The first one is conversation leads to compensation. If you don't talk about what it is that you do, or that you are looking for work, or that you have a service, nobody else is going to know what you do, that you offer something, or that you're looking for. It's like, no one's going to know. How that served me, and as an example, that Harvard contract, I was taking a course for strengths finders, and in the room, I had just gotten laid off like a month before. And I was in the room and I was talking, I was like, hey, so I do this now independently. I do facilitations. And it wasn't even that I was trying to market. I just, if no one knows,
just time it yourself.
No one's going to know.
Yeah.
So I said that, ended up being inside of a Zoom with one of the heads for Harvard services. He's like, hey, you offer 1, 2, and 3? You do this? And I was like, yes.
Yeah. And
to be honest, I knew I could do the skill. I was terrified of him asking me, like, could I come on and do the thing? In a company.
Yeah, it's a little different for sure. Yeah.
Now it's just me. So that's the one. Conversation is going to lead you to compensation. As an entrepreneur, if you don't talk about what it is that you're trying to do, even if you don't have it figured out, you're going to run into no one being able to pay you, no one being able to help you, no one being able to know and support you.
And then again, another step in there is that hidden step of, as you have those conversations, you refine. Again, right? We're refining, we're figuring it out. We're finding the blind spots in there as to what's wrong with our problem. Because I was talking with someone from Tech Town a few weeks ago about my business. And she was like, did you think of this? And I was like, no. Do you have some resources on that?
And be honest about it.
And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's totally, because now I'm guessing.
Now I know.
Now you know, and now you can do something with that.
Yeah, I have to get better at that. I mean, just last night, Sarah had to make me talk.
I did. We had a networking night and everyone's going around. But to be fair, I did it wrong too. I went too fast. I always want to be done with it. Hi, I'm Sarah from Dark Mode. I'm an instructional designer. See you later.
Right.
You know, we both have our issues, but he almost didn't go up and I said, excuse me.
She has to make me. It's something I have to get over to talk about it, because I certainly am in the market for more business, definitely. But I don't know why in that situation I wouldn't want to let people know. I don't know. But you know, she made me. So
I think sometimes we just assume though that becoming an entrepreneur is, you know, finding the right gigs, but it's all the conversations along the way. It's more than just the gig itself.
Absolutely. And having a friend, having a partner, having a network of some kind, it's fantastic. So the fact that you have a Sarah to be like, hey, and sometimes that's down clipping that you do is probably a benefit to her. Like, hey,
oh, absolutely,
that, tell him what you're about, and And I know he does that behind the scenes, and you're helping him do the in front of the scene. So
it's true. It's
awesome.
true.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that I would share is if you really want to be a business, you're not a business unless you start operating like one. And what I mean by that is go get established.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to start a business, like figure out, are you going to be a sole proprietor? Are you going to be an LLC? Are you going to file as an S corp? Like, I know that sounds very sticky, but the more you take those initial approaches serious, the more other people will take you serious. So when you show up somewhere, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of do this thing. Like I do, like, oh, okay. Do you have a business? Do you have a website? Do you have
Absolutely.
Do you have anything that makes you real?
Are you real?
Like, well, I'm real. And it's like, yeah, legally real. Right?
Yeah. I think people do want that knowledge that, they will be legally protected too.
And it's not as scary as people think. Like
No.
I was afraid. So I was like, I'm just going to open it. Oh, this is a lot of money. You want to pay every year this much? And it's like, yeah, there's a cost that's associated with just getting started. And most people won't pay the price. So the moment that you do, you're already a step ahead. And
So
now
true.
you're getting momentum into being an entrepreneur. So I know that those are kind of like the communication side and then the establishment side, but I think those two things in and of themselves were really what got me started, because people started asking me questions like, well, do you have this? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
It's like, okay, cool. And it made things so much easier because a lot of people are running around like, oh yeah, I can kind of gig this out for you. And it's like, yeah, I can go to Fiverr if I want to just gig stuff.
Yeah. And once you get to the point where you're talking contracts, that's not the moment where you want to be like, oh, hey, by the way, like I will get this done in a week and a half and then we'll do it. Like, no, that's not what we want to do.
Yeah. Be ready. Be ready for the opportunity.
Okay.
And you can make mistakes. Like my first engagement, I brought in someone else to help me. Because I was like, hey, I'm navigating this. I'm thinking about 1, 2, and 3. And I even asked the clients, like, hey, I got one more person. It won't cost you anything extra. Want to navigate and make sure it's okay to bring. They're like, sure. And I was like, great.
So the first pitch I ever pitched, I made sure to do a little extra so I could if I needed to. I was like, I need money in case I've lied and I'm wrong.
Excellent.
It's fine, but I was so grateful I had the little buffer in there because you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
And don't rely on one client.
Mm-mm.
Please don't rely on just having one client. What happens is I learned this the hard way. So
it's just like being employed.
It is like being an employee, except for they don't give you a severance package. There is no COBRA association or attachment with. Like, there's nothing that you get when you leave.
Yeah, no.
Done.
Just done.
Yeah. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I know you're speaking about leadership in the future of work, right? That's the next thing. This is what you do so often. And so you've mentioned one of the biggest hurdles for middle managers is the fear of officially moving from peer to supervisor. When you're coaching someone who lacks confidence to make that leap, how do you reframe that?
I like to know what it is that they're afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know their deepest, darkest secrets. So sometimes I've learned to not just be like, what are you scared of? Be like, I'm afraid of spiders. I'm like, okay, gosh, wrong question. Like, what's causing you to pause from taking the next step in your career journey?
Mm-hmm.
And like, well, I just don't feel like I'm ready. And I hear ready so often that it's like, I get it. I was that guy at Kaiser when I was about 2 years in. I got approached by someone that had a role that was higher than mine. They were a contract worker fulfilling this role for like the past maybe almost 2 years since I was there. We had a contract pimp inside of the role, and they're like, hey, I've seen you. You've been working around here. You show up really well. I think you should go for my position. And I was like, nah, I don't think I'm ready. And they're like, and that's exactly the face they gave me. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I just, I got a lot going on. I didn't have a whole lot going on. Like I had a lot of excuses.
Yeah.
I thought that, I had been in the department, so I had seen some of like the inner workings between people. And I don't want to get politics. I don't want to get caught up in. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm glad that they asked me that question instead of just moving on, because it caused me to pause. And I was like, well, you know, and I started trying to describe it and like, we like answer them, and they're like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, all right. And they're like, what are you really afraid of? And I was like, well, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. And they're like, you have a whole team. Like, that's what the team is for. The team is gonna, like, they're gonna do their job, and your job is to help the team eliminate roadblocks so that they can do their job better.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, in my mind, I did continuing medical education. So I did the educational side. And now you have to hold that plus the credentials and privilege. I know nothing about that world. And if I mess up, you're gonna fire me. I'm not gonna have a paycheck, and then I'm gonna be home. I went down this whole thing.
You really spiraled. I think a lot of people do, though. Honestly, I think this is very true and something worth noting. A lot of people do spiral. This is the hidden part we don't see. Thank you for sharing it.
You're welcome. And Betty was amazing. She was like, look here. She's like, you have, this whole team is intact. Yes, they have their issues. I will onboard you onto what it is that you need to know to maintain your job. You're going to have to put in the work to learn the rest of it.
Yeah.
But you already have the people skills. You already know how to navigate and go in and out. You're already good at learning things. You put in the time. If you do that here, because I don't see why you couldn't be successful. And it took me like a month to come back to Betty and say yes. Like, even after that conversation, I was kind of like, yeah, all right. And I kind of went home and was like, I don't really know. Mind you, this is the crazier part. I was going to get like, I think Kaiser brought me in, I won't say X, Y amount of dollars. It wasn't much. They paid me very little bits of money. This job was going to put me at my 5-year goal of finances.
Wow.
And I was 2 years in, and I was still telling this lady no.
Wow.
So when I'm talking to leaders, I'm coming to them from a place of like, oh, you should just figure it out, just get in there. I'm like, no, I get it. There's a whole lot of stuff behind. But what she did for me, I try to do for others of like, let's eliminate some of those barriers that you're seeing. Like, let's really take a step back. Let's look at it objectively, and let's get a different perspective. What would your life look like if you did take on this role? What are the upsides? And I was like, well, I would be able to do this. I'd be able to, she's like, okay, how would you grow as a person? I was like, well, I'd be able to stretch here. She's like, so what's holding you back? And that gave me permission. And so I can do that same thing for others that are inside of this space.
Wow. Yeah. So, wow. Thank you for all of that. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, you've been very blessed to have someone to pull you along like that. We know that, you know, people get paralyzed by making, you know, or having to make tough decisions. But you often talk about stepping into leadership and how it finally gives you the authority to move that needle. So in that case, you were a little bit shy when you got in there. How did that work? Did you finally embrace your influence? Was it a little bit easier once you got in there? Tell us about that.
The tricky part about getting a title is that most of us have seen bad management. And so sometimes we're like, I want to be that person. I want to do that. And so we'll over-index. Like, we won't do nothing. Or we'll like, well, this is what I saw. I know this is how it goes. Let's just do that. For me, I was like, man, let me go talk to some other leaders and see, like, how do I start? Like, what's the first meeting that I need to have with my team? Like, how do I even get influence? I was given authority. I was not given influence. Influence is what you earn. It is given based on trust, given based on your expectations and your level set. Like, people don't just give you influence. They'll give you an authority inside of the title. And it doesn't even mean that people have to like you to have authority. So what I did was, all right, who do I know that does leadership? And like, what books, what things. The first meeting that I had with the team, I was told that you need to go set expectations with them. But when you set them, go ask them, what are they looking for in a good leader? Go ask the team individually. I'm new to the role. I don't know what the history has been like on this team. I would love to get your understanding of what good leadership looks like for you. He's like, ask every single person on the team what that looks like. And then you give them your thoughts on it and you create something together.
I had a past company who had a really great worksheet for this. It was already made out for all of their leaders. And it said, like, how do you like to receive praise? How do you like to receive critique? Like all these different things. And it was really cool because one of the items was like, I prefer critique in written form because it's easier for me to process and just see like, okay, I've done nothing wrong. I can figure it out, you know? And so it was really nice to have that, like, known, like, okay, I can get that in that way. And like these little accommodations that like, you know, you don't have to be neurodivergent to get them. Everyone can get them if you just fill out this form and then you can like, you know, shape your leadership to it. I thought, what a cool idea.
That's actually, you know, one of my leader lessons. I'm building these leader lessons because I feel like I've made every mistake known to man. But one of my biggest mistakes was assuming that someone would want public recognition. And, you know, long story short, I was embarrassed when I tried to surprise them on a Zoom call for a company. And she was there, but once I called her name, you know, it was a surprise. When I called her name, she logged off. Ooh, it was embarrassing for me. It was embarrassing for me because, you know, I assumed that she would love this. Well, you know, a lot of other people loved it. 80% of the rest of the company loved it. It was a full program. But I went to her office shortly after. She's like almost in hives. She's like, I don't know. Yeah, Sarah, all of this was red. All of this was red. And she's like, I really appreciate it, but I do not like
some people don't
public, you know, recognition. And I was like, well, I didn't know anybody at that point who didn't want to be acknowledged publicly. You know, but you know, and you know, I can be performative. I did give the big Oprah introduction, and you know, I did too much. I did, so I'm sure I made it worse.
I would have loved it. You just got to know your audience.
See what I'm saying? And you just got to know. Maybe I should have given that questionnaire out, and then I would have known. She was new to the company, which is why I thought it was so fantastic. The impact she made in just a month in the company, I really wanted to highlight that. Yeah, it was not the right way to do that. So yeah, I totally resonate with that. And finding out from your people how they want to receive criticism and how they want to receive recognition.
Crucial. I love that you're able to be honest about it and have like the moment make it visceral, because there's stuff that everyone as a leader, you're gonna step on something and you were like, oh, I didn't know what that was. It's almost like stepping on Legos in a dark room. It's like, I didn't know if that was there. And you're like, oh man. And you have two choices typically. I can either double down and be like, oh, you know, this is just how we do. Or you go like, you know, my bad. I didn't realize. And you can adjust. And I think that is like a key element, including what you're talking about, of just like, how do I take inventory? Like, man, I didn't really like this. I don't like how it feels, but you're right.
I think, you know, the thing about all of this is it's not common sense. And employers make this mistake. Employers choose people to be in leadership because they think with common sense, that person's good talking to other people. They'll be great at leading people. And that's what to me inspired me to do it, to talk about it, is because unlike you, I didn't have anyone help me into leadership. You know, I just sort of tried to barge my way in, but I didn't read any books. Because I didn't respect the discipline enough. I'm like, people like me, and you know, they do what I say. And this was really my thought process. And it got me into trouble with things like that. It's a common sense thing to think someone would want to be appreciated publicly. But the truth of the matter is some people have a real problem with it. They want it. They want to know that you appreciate them, but just not in that way. And so it's a lot of things in leadership development that are pretty common sense, you would think. But then when you study it and talk to people like you learn the discipline of leadership, and then you learn some things like, oh, it's It's not as simple as I thought it was. It's not easy. I get along with my coworkers right now. They shouldn't have a problem if I become their leader. Wrong. So yeah, it's fascinating. So thank you for being in this space and talking to people about it, because as I said, a lot of companies promote people with common sense instead of looking for people who have the skill set that you're saying and telling people they need.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, and I'll add this too. People will get promoted for common sense or skill competency.
I was just gonna say, can we talk about that? Because I am this category of I'm great at what I do. Oh crap, I have to lead. How do I tell you what to do?
Yeah. And I've seen this happens a lot in the engineering space and even in the physician side of things, where I am an excellent physician, I'm an excellent engineer, programmer, designer, whatever, like especially craft-based like roles. I am the top person at this. And we think because you know it, you should be able to help teach others how to do it. And there's like a whole bunch of things that come with that. Some people don't even have the appetite. Like, I don't even want to do this. I don't even want to be in front of people. Yes, could I? I don't want it. Yeah. And then some organizations will almost force you they'll put you on track. All right, well, we're promoting you. And you'd be like, okay.
All right.
All right. And there's others who, I forget the full term of it right now, but it's something about like, I'm gonna butcher it, so I won't. It's basically the people that are really, really smart and have very, very low people skills. There's like
promoted to the least.
Like genius jerks, something jerk. I can't.
I got to find that term. Yeah, I have to find it, because being in HR orientation, we've run into that. I've run into that for years. We would go and choose the best people who perform well at this job and say, shadow time, go sit and learn from them. And I actually had a person one time get yelled at and ordered away from someone's desk. Totally our fault, because we did not orient that person and say, okay, we want you to start shadowing. We think you're great. You're one of the top people here. We want you to share that. She was not having it, because she was a technical support rep, and then taking her calls, she had a cadence. And you got this person in your ear saying, why'd you do that? Can you show me that? She couldn't after 3 calls, she couldn't take it. She turned around and ordered the person away from her desk. She couldn't take it. Yeah. And so that was a huge lesson to me for everything we just talked about, that just because someone is great at what they do does not mean they're going to be good at showing others. It takes patience. And so we have to learn to look for not necessarily folks that were the best. There were people who were middle of the road who were great at showing people what to do. And we're saying, well, then why don't you do it? If you're showing this person, you know what to do. Why don't you do it? Why aren't your stats better? But
I think so much of it is open communication and polite communication, asking questions, being inquisitive. I think it's hard to step into a role and just get right in there. Oof.
Yeah. And
that's not me now.
The skill that we're not taught, and it's just genuine, honest question asking. Like there's nothing extra added on it. So it's having a learner's mindset when you join in. You're transitioning from being an expert. Yeah. You are known to be the expert. And now we're asking you to have a beginner's mindset on approaching leadership while maintaining your skills and expertise. And so technical roles, that's a hard transition sometimes. It's like, well, no, the reason you promoted me and I can do it faster. And so I talk about this thing called the cycle of stuck, which ends up happening for most organizations that transition internal leadership. You're there, you know it. Your team brings you something. They start bringing you the new questions because you're the leader. And because you're used to answering, you give them an answer right away. It's like, oh yeah, go do this. Yeah. Oh, I'll take that on. I'll do this. And so you started off with them asking you a question. Then you move into them bringing you something. You start hoarding more of the work. You start doing it. You start doing rework. Then you start to own the issues that they have because now your work, and then your team starts relying on you more and more. And what ends up happening is instead of them having capacity,
Boundaries.
now you feel burnt out.
Boundaries, so you don't lose that capacity. Oh, yeah.
But if you're a worker,
it comes down to communication.
that's what you do, though. If you are excellent, which is why they chose me, this is what you do. You take care of things.
Excellence, though, is not taking care of things. Excellence is making sure that people can take care of things in leadership. It is no longer taking care of things.
I think this is a good point. What you're calling out is what we expect, but how you're measured before you get there is very different. So
but the end goal is that.
And we don't.
Is what I'm saying. Yeah, and we don't. We don't.
What you're saying.
And then you have the same exact high performer burnout, right? Same exact thing, different role. Oh no, I did it so well that I can't do it anymore and I'm falling apart. Yeah.
And most organizations that I've worked in or partnered with, I think, Sarah, what you're bringing up is excellent, because we have this expectation of what excellence is, but on paper, when we're actually going through the competencies and the behaviors, that's not what excellence is.
No, this is something I really, really talk about a lot, is how the data we are measuring is wrong.
Yep.
Like, we're like, okay, what is a good leader? It's this. That's not actually a good leader. That's not actually how we measure a good leader at our company, but that's the checklist of a good leader at our company. Very different things.
And we're transitioning someone, remember, from the previous checklist was you own the whole vertical of the work. So whatever the assignment is, whatever the project is, whatever the deliverable, especially in an engineering or development space, I own this thing.
Yes.
I don't own the horizontal.
Oh, the silos at work make me crazy too. Oh, I could talk forever.
Here.
I have a whole plan to redo it all, guys. Come to dark mode. We'll do it all. Basically, my plan is you start with the bottom and you move upwards. Why are we doing it backwards? Come on, guys. Let's get to it. It's time.
Yeah.
I digress. Let's go to a different topic to make people upset. Instead of, talking about this, let's talk about AI. You've been heavily leaning into that space too. I know I've said the curse words. I'm sorry. Where are you seeing the biggest friction points or adoption challenges when you consult orgs on AI today?
The biggest friction I'm seeing is that there's two things. One is that companies are assuming that people are just going to use it. So there's a friction point where they're telling.
People just not.
I've been in tech organization. I won't say which one. And the CEO is like, if you're not using AI, you're behind. That was it. There's no context on how are we going to use AI.
Just use it.
You're going to integrate it within our organization. What does usage even mean? Like, if you were to Google right now, like AI adoption in America, it's going to tell you that we're at like maybe 20% for organization. But what does that mean? Adoption meaning that it's inside of our system somewhere. Adoption meaning that I'm using it as a thought. So that's the first level of friction, is people are being told to use this thing and aren't being told which one to use, how to use it, what it's going to really do for you. That's friction point number one. Friction point number two is what I'm starting to see is that we're starting to get these folks who are using it and asking it questions, not realizing that AI is designed for engagement right now. So if you go on to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they're designed to keep you using the platform. That's the whole basis. So if you ask it a question, it is going to give you information. It's going to lead you to want to keep engaging with it.
I didn't even think about that. Do people get sucked into that loop at work?
Yes. So an example of this, I was working on a project with a director at an organization I was working at. And my skill set is facilitation, coaching, like the learning and leadership development side is my jam. Their expertise was in something else. And they're asking, well, we should do this for this scenario. We should create it like this. And I was like, we shouldn't do that because like these things, I've seen this not like, well, I asked chat and chat said, and I was like, oh, this is real. So instead of you taking like, hey, this is what I do. And it's not like one of those like, oh, I just know. It's like, hey, no, we literally just tried this. This example is going to be very heavy for people to cognitively take in. They're like, well, no, chat said that this is good to use, so we should use it. And I was like, okay. Chat. So
Yeah.
these false experts, because
Yeah.
is able to condense years of information and make it seem like, oh, this is good. And it'll give it to you in a way that supplies what you already wanted. And they only use chat after I told them no.
I saw a reel earlier today that was very fascinating to me, and I'm not sure how it works in the corporate AI space. And, you know, I'm not sure of any of the information, so take it with a grain of salt. But basically it said that chat now, a lot of the companies have taken off the ability for AI to scrape information from their websites. So chat is scraping from like bottom of the barrel stuff, and we're getting the bottom of the barrel information. And like a lot of this stuff, like if you look at the sources cited, it'll be like an AI source or something like that, you know, like there's all of these different things too. And so like I find whatever isn't improving is degrading. And so if they're not actively, you know, working against these things, then the AI systems are degrading. I had a similar issue with a voice API where it would, you know, go a little rogue every time. And I'm like, okay, what are the you know, guardrails here? How do we make sure that these systems don't degrade over time? So
I think that's a great point. There was an article recently about the woman who made fake deodorant brand and had to be promoted. AI started using it and search engines started using it to promote it as like one of the top deodorants, and it doesn't
exist. That one too.
So wild. To your point of like, how do we start delineating between real information and AI slop, or something that's kind of like, this is all just regurgitation of old stuff that's no longer valid? I think that's going to become more and more prevalent. Claude just launched this thing where they're starting to watermark like AI.
Oh, good.
Oh,
yes, asterisk. So how, my question now becomes, how are companies and organizations going to start penalizing people for using AI generated work? Because what if the ideas were generally mine and I now leverage AI to partner with me as a thought partner, which was what we're asking them to do anyway. And then the product is now watermarked as, oh, this was created with AI. How do we make sure that that's, it's not much like, oh, this is AI, this isn't any good. AI is a tool.
Yeah.
We say that.
Use the tool. I still have to be able to perform. I still have to have a thought to bring it into AI. I still have to have the wherewithal to present it to you. I feel
like there needs to be like an emoji at the bottom that's like almost, you know, gone. That's just like an AI was here.
Yeah.
But not the glitter one. Don't take my glitter emoji. You gotta take some weird, you know.
Melting face emoji? Is that what we're gonna use?
Some like black hole emoji to signify.
So there's a lot happening here. It's just, it's fascinating. Already out in the space right now.
Yeah.
Could you about to say something?
Well, no, I actually was gonna say that, you know, I think it's unfair that now you have to put a watermark on it, because since the beginning, I've always felt like, I mean, I have to put in the prompts. I have to piece the information together to present to you. So now this watermark is a problem because, you know, you're going to think I took everything from AI. And, you know, the same thing rings true, whether I got it from AI or not. I still have to stand in front of you and present it to you and explain it to you and put it together and put the pieces together. And I think it's just a little bit unfair, but you know, I'm gonna continue to say this. I'm the old man on the porch for AI. I want you to get off my lawn with that and carry on. So that's it.
And I'm curious, like, you know, we're talking about this today. In the next week, 2 weeks, month, is this going to be old? And that's the other scary part with AI is there was this big push, like, use it, use it, use it. And now people are like, maybe we should take a step back and teach you how to. Like, yeah, maybe.
Well, because people like us are going to continue to expose its flaws.
Yeah.
And I, from the beginning, I have not changed. It's my new Encyclopedia Britannica. It's the 24 volume where some dude came to our house when I was little and sold it to us. And I would go there for my book reports. I would go in there for anything that I was looking at interesting. It's my new Reader's Digest. It's my atlas when I want to learn about the world and things like that. That's what it's my medical research. It's my research tool. Yeah. And unfortunately, though, people use it in a certain way. I even when I was first beginning to use it, someone in one of my classes warned me on it and was telling me about, how it pulls information from the internet. And I went on to LinkedIn and someone had written an article, and I put the subject matter of the article into ChatGPT, and it brought out the entire article. Like they pulled it completely from ChatGPT. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They didn't write anything original. The whole thing came from ChatGPT. I put it in like I was researching it, and it put that whole thing in there. And I was looking for it to cite that person. It did not cite that person. So that person must have gotten it from ChatGPT.
Maybe. And then
posted it out there like it was theirs.
Well, actually, that'll be a thing sometimes too, where it'll think that you're plagiarizing work that you've done because it cites your work as a source and things like there's all sorts of crazy nuances and things. AI, man, oof.
Yeah,
we've gone there. I'm sorry. Let's leave there. Clifton, help us get away from this.
I think in order to get away from it, I think it's here to stay. I think how it's used and how it's leveraged is going to always kind of evolve. The areas that I've been telling people I really see being pertinent for leadership specifically are the humanistic skills of empathy, compassion, and communication. So we can't avoid those things. And there's another element of being able to ask really good questions. So if you can start putting on a coaching mindset now, you'll be able to leverage that inside of your human interactions, and you'll be able to leverage that in AI. So it's a skill.
So true. Good questions. Great skill.
So yeah, it's also really, really good if we could go to the L&D side. It's really, really good helping you to organize your thoughts on a course or workshop. Because I'm a little bit chaotic. I'm all over the place. I have a great spark of an idea, and then I'm thinking of different things, and I could just plot all of that stuff in there, and it'll organize it for me. It's not taking any information from anywhere. It's not, it's so those functional things I really like about it. I like how it functions in software.
Yeah,
I like that. When we do certain things, it serves as an assistant. It's now in Canva. When you're in Canva, you can now click and ask, is this okay? Does this look good? Is this gonna get my audience, get my audience's attention? Things like that is great functionality wise. I love that part of it.
There's so much that it's useful for.
Yeah.
It is a game changer. So example in the L&D space specifically, I love what you're calling out. If you're ever presenting to a group or an audience or a collective of people that you never had the opportunity to be in front of before, you know how useful it is if you know their job titles and the industry that they're in, to take your design and be like, hey, I'm going to be presenting something on X, Y, and Z topic to this type of individual in the room. What are some of the key things I need to make sure I call out?
That's actually one of my favorite things I love to use AI for is how would someone like this respond to this? So that I can get the data before a presentation. 100%. Yes.
And that's low stake. Like it doesn't cost you anything.
It's the best. So anything that you're like a little bit worried about, it's not foolproof by any means, right? Humans can do whatever they're going to do, but it gives you a little bit of an idea. Okay. It might land well. Woohoo.
Yeah, it lands well.
Gives you the confidence from earlier.
Yeah.
And you're able to full circle this whole moment. Yeah. Beautiful. I'm a fan.
Well, I mean, this again, Kelvin, we really love you over here at ATD, Detroit. And, this has been an incredible conversation, insight into the dirty details about entrepreneurship. I think this is going to be one of our best episodes of the season. That's what we exist here for, is to pull back the curtain. In 60 minutes, you can pull back the curtain on something and really understand. So before we let you go, though, tell us where you are next, what you're into, what are you working on next, and where can our listeners find you?
Oh man, so I've been going on to LinkedIn every Wednesday and Friday. So I'm on there. You can find me underneath my name, and I've been doing these on. Go ahead.
I saw that.
Oh yeah. So on Wednesdays and Fridays, Wednesdays are specific towards organizations. So I'm talking about some things from the ATD lens of like, hey, how does leadership show up within an org? Some things you should be considering. And then on Fridays, a little more casual, more geared towards individuals. I'm like, hey, if you're thinking about leadership, here are just some tips, tricks, tools, ideas. And really, they're like 30 minutes, but it's giving people just an opportunity. I'm like, I'm living in this space. And if anyone has any pushback, like that's a good way for me to validate or even rethink and reconsider what it is that I'm saying. So those are the two places. Wednesdays and Fridays on LinkedIn is where I've been. I'm dabbling with the idea of creating one of these moments like podcasts. I'm like, do I really want to? It's a commitment. So
it is a commitment.
I commend both.
If you don't want to commit to the full bit, there's always great other podcasts you can go on. But I think you should do it. I love a podcast.
Yeah.
I would listen to you.
All right.
Great opportunity if you're gonna get into it. And I think you'll be great. You're a great conversationalist. You can keep it going.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all this with us. I think especially those LinkedIn lives will be great for our listeners. And to all of our listeners, whether you're in Michigan chapters or tuning in from afar, keep pushing the boundaries of your own learning journeys. We'll catch you on the next episode of ATD and the D. Thank you.